What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Put a Ring on It Season 1, Episode 2. So we left off with the cliffhanger to see if Smoke, aka I think Darian, was going to go on a second date with Miss Kai. Now, he decided that he was. Now, we know that Lexi was not here for it. But, you know, this is what you signed up for. It is what it is. And so we find out that it is the ladies' turn to go out on a date. And that the tables have now turned. And, of course, 2 out of the 3 guys ain't feeling it. Now, Mr. Smoke was like, I'm here for it. She need to feel what I'm feeling. She need to go through what I'm going through, and maybe she'll understand why I'm making the decisions that I'm making. But Shawn and, hold on, y'all. I know I gotta get my notes here. And Eric wasn't feeling it, okay? Shawn and Eric, they weren't feeling it. Now, the first person that shows up is, we have Randon showed up to take Miss Jessica out. Now listen, let me tell you something. I wasn't feeling Mr. Randon from the dope. I don't understand what that raspy voice was he had going on. It sounded like he was trying to sound sexy, but it wasn't right. Wasn't quite as sexy. He gets to the house, and of course, Eric act the way you would expect him to go act. You know, he didn't want to answer the door, and then of course he warning him about, you know, you better treat her like a lady, and where y'all going? I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be watching. You know, they get out on the date, and you know, she opens up to him about how they've been together for 4 years, and you know, basically she's at the point of either we going, you know, piss or get off the pot kind of thing. Like, what we gonna do? What we doing here? And Eric is giving her all of the song and dance. Now, here was the red flag with Eric. Eric is 32 years old, and Eric said that he has never had a girlfriend. Sir, what? I could see if he said I'd never been in a serious relationship. I could see if he said I had a woman, she broke my heart, and I ain't never. But you are 32 years old and you ain't never had a girlfriend. Now, I would find it curious if there are women around him who would agree. Because I feel like there are some women in his life that would be like, excuse me, sir, what? You said you never had a who? Oh. Because I'm right here. I'm the girlfriend right here. So I would be interested to see how many women. I don't be following people on Twitter like that. But I bet you somebody last night tweeted out. Well, not last night because it's an old episode. But when this episode hit, I'm sure somebody tweeted out, excuse me, sir? You said what about who to where? Anyway. So that was that. I mean, their day wasn't really all that. I mean, of course, it was the same old. What you want in a man, what you not getting in a man, what I could give to you, you know. And I feel like Jessica is enjoying the moment. She's enjoying the attention. She's enjoying, you know, Eric being jealous. Like, but Eric and Jessica, Eric and Jessica, they have a problem. They don't trust each other, and that's the issue. So this probably is not the best experiment for people who are already dealing with jealousy and the fact that they don't trust. Like, I don't know if they've dealt with infidelity in the past, but it definitely seems like there is some deep-rooted, I don't trust you from both of them. And they even said it, that they don't trust each other. So, and you know, Dr. Nicole was like, well then, if y'all don't trust each other, kind of like, what are we doing here? Kind of thing. Anyway. Shawn and Laronda. Now, they had a one-on-one with Dr. Nicole. And the big conversation that they talked about was finances. I get the impression that Laronda makes decent money. I ain't saying she rich or a millionaire, but it sounds like she makes pretty good money. Shawn, on the other hand, his money funny because he's in entertainment. Sometimes he get a good check. Sometimes he might go 6 months without something, booking a job or whatever. And so that is an insecurity. And let's be clear, I'm not mad at him for feeling some kind of way about it because that's a man thing. At least it should be. No man should feel comfortable feeling like they're not bringing in or pulling their share in the household. Now, LaRonda's thing is, listen, I know what I signed up for. Like, I know what you do. I understand how your money runs, and I'm not expecting anything more or different. I get it. I respect it. This is it. Like, this is where we are with it. He's going to have to come to terms with it for himself. The other conversation that they brought up was because he was like, I don't want to be my dad. He was like, my dad was a provider, but he was not there emotionally for any of us. And so I don't want to be so caught up on one thing that I'm not doing the other, but I also want to be very cautious of doing them both equally well. And so we see that that's like a big thing with him. Now, LaRonda's date shows up, and LaRonda goes out with John. John is a singer-songwriter. You know, he came to the door talking about some peace and blessings. It was a lot. John was a lot. John had a very big personality. He was really doing a lot for a first date. But him and LaRonda seemed to click really well. They went to a wine cellar. I think they were probably at Cynthia Bailey's wine cellar. That's what they had looked like. He was very definitive in choosing the wine. He says they had, crudité and fruit in front of them. And he said something about, he said, don't think I'm crazy or whatever, but I have this vision of us standing on opposite ends of the room and throwing grapes at each other's mouths. And she was like, I'm down for it. Let's try it. He was like, for real? And so her thing was, that's the kind of spontaneousness that I love. Like, I was cool that he was down for it, And then, she was like, well, what do you do? He was like, well, I'm a singer. And she was like, oh, for real, I do a little something, something. And she does sound like she got like a little voice, a little something, something. I don't know how deep it is, Some people can sing and some people can sing, but it sounds like she can carry a tune a little bit. And she said, yeah, I'll give you a little run here and there. I can give you, she said, I can even give you, she was like, I could even give you a bar or two, And he said, yeah, because I even wrote a song about this experience. And she was like, oh, for real, give me the song. And he starts singing about putting a ring on it, and whatever it was that had the words "put a ring on it." I thought it was cute. Again, it was a lot, but LaRonda seemed to very much be into it. Now, on the flip side, Mr. Shawn was back at the house losing his ever-loving mind. He must have put on a show for production, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because all last season, we never got this much of what the other person was doing. We got the jealousy, we got the reaction, like we got all of that, but we never got this much. I mean, we saw him doing push-ups, we saw him doing pull-ups, we saw him eating a sandwich, we saw him laying on the couch looking like he was getting ready to cry. We saw him call his friend, and his friend tried to talk him through it, and he did cry. Then we saw him go in the bathroom, and the poor baby threw up. Like, it was really bothering him emotionally. It was eating at him, the thought of LaRonda on a date with another man. Again, don't know if this experiment is for y'all. I'm just saying. Now, Alexia, on the other hand, and Duron, on the other hand, I feel like they are 100% the best couple for this. Her dude showed up, and of course, Duron is throwing shots, because he's a trainer, and so he starts making comments about, you be sleeping with your, and you be sleeping with your people, and he was like, see, I actually have a reputation for not being that person, and I'm very proud of my reputation that I don't sleep with, the people that I train, and Alexia's biggest thing was, I hope he doesn't know you. Like, I do not want to go on a date with a fan. And so she asked him, do you know him? He looked familiar to you? And he was like, I never seen him before in my life. And I don't mean no harm, but I wouldn't know who he is either. Like, I get it that he's been in music for many, many years, but I would walk past him on the street. No disrespect. Some people by face, and some people you be like, oh, okay, that's him. You know what I mean? Anyway. So they go out on their date, and it's a cool day. I mean, they're doing athletic stuff. She's athletic. He's a trainer, that kind of thing. But when they got sat down to talk, I feel like he was coming on a little strong. He was like, well, what do you like? What do you like? And she was trying to tell him, and he kept cutting her off. No, I mean, what do you like? I mean, I want to know what you think. He said, the reason why I'm stressing that is because, I want to know about you. And she was like, no, I know, I get it. She said, I'm an alpha personality, and he's an alpha personality, so I'm very clear on what I want. She was like, that's why I think we get along so well, and then I also think that's why we clash so much. So then he said, she spoke to the fact that they've been together for 14 years, off and on. She's like, I played ball in Europe, he's traveled, but in those 14 years, like, there's never been a serious conversation about marriage. Girl, if you like it, I love it. I mean, woo, in 14 years? Wow. And so, you know, again, I feel like she liked him, but I don't know. Like I said, I feel like he came on a little strong for me. Maybe he was trying to do too much. I don't know. Came on a little bit strong for my taste, but, you know, he ain't dating me. He dating her, you know. So we come back together and we go through the dates. Now, the reason why I say I feel like Alexia and Duron are probably the better couple out of the three couples that are going to get something out of this experience is she said that they stayed up till 7 o'clock in the morning talking. And just talking, not arguing, not fighting, not cutting each other off, not trying to be right, just having a conversation. She said, and that's the first time they've done that since college. And so I feel like they're getting what they need out of it. It's giving them that self-reflection. It's opening up conversations. They're talking to each other about what it is they want, what they see, why it is and what this is, and why, you know, like I feel like they're getting something. Now, Jessica and Eric. Jessica said she ain't want to go out on another date with old boy. You know, again, I feel like they're just going through the motions. But again, the jealousy thing is going to be an issue for the two of them. Alexia said she didn't want to go out on a date with old boy again. She was like, she was good. She didn't need to go out on a date with him again. Then we get to Shawn and Laronda, and we find out about Shawn throwing up and getting physically ill. He talks about his biggest fear is becoming his dad, and he cried. Listen, and he said that in his confessional. He said, listen, I'm a very emotional person. I cry all the time. Well, we see that because you cried 3 times this one episode. And I'm not even going to shame you for it. I ain't going to be mad about it because I think more people, especially men, need to be in tune with their emotions. I'm not a big crier. It takes a lot for me to cry. So I ain't even about to make fun of the fact that you won't hear crying loud, okay? Feel it, baby. Feel it. Step into your full emotions and feel it. The problem I had, though, is I think LaRonda really wanted to go on another date with Jason, but she chose not to. She declined, and she said because I don't want to see him, like the fact that he was so physically ill over a date for the first time, I know basically that a second date, he can't handle it, and so I'm just not going to do it again. And Dr. Nicole told her, that is not being authentic to this process, and it's not being authentic to you. But she let her move in it. Like, she didn't say, well, I'm going to ask you again, because I think LaRonda really wanted to go on a second date with Jason. But she put it on Shawn and said, well, I'm not going to do it because. See, that makes me a little nervous about their whole relationship. Like, are you not happy, but you're scared to break up with him because you're scared of how that's going to trickle down? That's a serious thought. Anyway, next week, or the next episode, because it's already happened, they are all going on dates, and they're going on dates together, like in the same space. So they'll see each other on their date, and I feel like it's going to be real interesting. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.